One of the stories that I know many people have on repeat, because I've done my this is something I'm studying now, is that I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy. It would, like the anxiety of like, what if I failed them? I don't have what it takes.
And let's be specific, because I think that is more predominantly female than it is male. Not that it can't apply to everyone, of course, but I think females struggle more with the feeling of qualified, being qualified, feeling like they're qualified, and men don't. And it's not men against women or one's better than the other. It just simply is a mindset situation that, okay, let's acknowledge it and figure it out and help women choose different stories so that it's not about being qualified. It's just about is you just do the thing.
Yeah, there's definitely different inclinations in that way, and but see, that's what's great about it is choosing. You have so many stories in your life of when you are qualified, of how you of achieving all the qualifications that you could ever need. So if what you need is qualification justification, it's simply choosing to pull those stories out of your memory, like actively saying, no, I'm qualified because of this story that happened in my life, and this thing that happened, and this thing that I achieved, and this, and then you have each one of those stories all lined up. Now, in this case, that actually wasn't the limiting belief that gave me pause. Because you know what? I was ready. Yeah. Like I know Beachbody. I mean, I said this on stage, like I've been doing Beachbody workouts since they were on VHS tapes. So right? Like I know what you're about. I know the industry as well. I've worked for many companies in this industry. I know the entrepreneurial spirit, and I also know about storytelling because I've been studying it basically my whole life. So in terms of the limiting belief or the stories that were running wild that gave me pause, it actually wasn't about my qualification. It was that the agent had called. It was actually, she called on a Thursday. They needed me to speak. You needed me to speak on Saturday, which would mean that I would need to fly out basically Friday morning. And we had just moved to New York City at the time. My business was extremely busy. I was already feeling like I was failing my children. I felt like I was a bad mother. I felt like I was too ambitious, that I was letting my love for my work overshadow my love for my children, that since I wasn't making them their lunch every day and cutting off the crusts, that they were going to, abandon me. Like I went into this insane spiral. I was busy. Like I was working hard. I do love my work. Yeah. But I remember asking my agent if I could get back to her, and she was like, "What?" I said, I know. And she said, "You have a 1 hour." And I went home and I told Michael that Beachbody had called, like Beachbody wanted me to speak. And he looked at me and was like, "And you're sad?" Like he couldn't, right? Like he couldn't
right now.
Yeah. And so I remember I walked into the bathroom and I sat on the floor, and I'm not a cry in the bathroom kind of girl, but I just sobbed because here it was like the biggest, and I knew how big it was. Like, make no mistake, I knew how big it was. And yet feeling like I'm just this, like my head just kept saying, who do you think you are? You're so, and so sitting there on the bathroom floor, I decided just to pause the spiral and say, can I think of any stories that show that I'm not a terrible mother, that maybe my work and who I am and what I do is actually serving my kids and giving them something that is very unique because of who I am. And I share one of the stories in the in the book, but there are so many stories that with my children, that, I'm not the traditional mom. I'm not going to be at every classroom party. I mean, heck, they don't even let you in at the classroom parties anymore. So what good is that?
They don't let you at every classroom party.
Exactly. Like, and that's the thing is like, whose standard is it? My kids didn't want me there I mean, they were like little, so maybe they did. But actually, probably if I had been at all the parties, they wouldn't have wanted me at all the parties. They wanted me there because it was special when I was. Right. And so I started playing some of, just for fun, some of the stories that weren't innately, Kindra, you're a terrible parent, that were, Kindra, you are an incredible mother, even in part because of who you are and what you do. Right. And I sat there in kind of suspension to see how those stories made me feel. And it was like instant. It was so all that. So that's what these limiting beliefs do one of two things. They either keep you from saying the yes. They keep you from doing things. They hold you back. You don't put yourself out there. You don't take the risk. You don't make a phone call. You whatever. You don't wear the dress. You don't, whatever it is. It keeps you from doing things, or it makes you miserable while you're doing the things.
Yes.
Because so it just siphons off the joy that, quite frankly, you're entitled to if you're doing the things, right? Yeah. And so the weight of that guilt was lifted, and I remember just feeling so fueled, like just a few stories. Yeah. And I called back and said, I'm in. I'm not leaving Friday morning. I am going to pick my kids up from school and take them to dinner. I will fly out Saturday morning to Las Vegas and be there for the afternoon keynote. And that was the compromise. And the rest is history.